Dear Fear, for years I believed you were my protector. Today, I want to tell you what I've learned about true love and why you can't be a part of it. I'm writing you this letter because I need to close this circle with you. I need you to understand that I will no longer confuse your voice with the voice of love. I will no longer allow you to whisper in my ear that someone loves me when they are actually dimming my light, when they are turning me into a smaller version of myself. Do you know when I realized it? It was an ordinary Tuesday. I was sitting in front of the mirror, putting on my makeup to go to work, and for a moment, I paused. The woman looking back at me from the glass had my eyes, but she wasn't me. She was an edited, tamed, silenced version of who I used to be, and in that moment, I understood something that the singer Violeta Parra knew all too well when she sang about the soul's anguish, that some loves don't nourish, they devour. I remembered my grandmother who spent 40 years waiting for my grandfather to change, 40 years telling herself that his shouts were passion, that his silences were love, that his indifference was just hard work. 40 years believing that love was about enduring, resisting, slowly disappearing so that someone else could shine. My grandmother died without ever knowing what it was like to be seen, to be celebrated, to be loved in her entirety. And I was repeating her story. I was confusing intensity with intimacy, possession with protection, control with care. I was calling something love that was actually a golden cage, shiny on the outside but suffocating on the inside. True love doesn't ask you to make yourself smaller so it can feel bigger. True love doesn't silence you when you have something to say. True love doesn't turn you into its repair project or its trophy to be conquered. True love sees you, celebrates you, expands you. Clarissa Pinkola Estes speaks of the wild woman, that primal force we carry within us that connects us to our most authentic essence. She says that when a woman has been overly tamed, when she has lost her instinct, she can recognize it because she feels as if she's living behind frosted glass. She sees life, but she doesn't fully feel it. She participates, but not from her core. That was happening to me. I had learned to live from the surface, from what was expected of me, from what was safe and acceptable. I had learned to love from a place of lack, from the fear of abandonment, from the belief that I had to earn love by being less than I was. But love that is earned through sacrifice isn't love, it's a transaction. And transactions end when one party can no longer pay the price. I remember the first time someone truly loved me. He didn't ask me to change my laugh because it was too loud. He didn't suggest I lower my voice when I spoke about my dreams. He didn't make me feel that my emotions were too intense or my ideas too radical. He loved me completely, with my light and my shadows, with my certainties and my contradictions. And that's when I understood the difference. True love doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be real. It doesn't ask you not to have wounds. It walks beside you as you heal. It doesn't ask you not to be afraid. It holds your hand as you face your fears. If you find yourself justifying behavior that hurts you, if you find yourself apologizing for being who you are, if you feel like you have to walk on eggshells to avoid a storm, that is not love. That is survival. If you are with someone who needs you to be less intelligent to feel more capable, who requires you to be less successful to feel more important, who asks you to be less authentic to feel more comfortable, that person does not love you. They love the idea of you that they have created. They love the control they can exert over you. They love how you are reflected in their eyes, but they do not love you. True love is the fire that ignites you, not the water that puts you out. It is the wind that fills your sails, not the anchor that keeps you in the harbour. It is the light that helps you shine brighter, not the shadow that hides you. Brief pause. If this message is resonating with you, if you feel you need to hear more reflections like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps me continue creating content that truly matters. I've learned that recognizing a love that dims you isn't always easy, because sometimes it comes disguised as care. I'm telling you this because I love you. It's for your own good. You know I only want to protect you. But true protection doesn't require you to diminish yourself. Authentic care doesn't need your silence. I've seen brilliant women become whispers of their former selves for men who claim to love them. I've seen sensitive men become hard as stone for women who confused hardness with strength. I've seen extraordinary people become ordinary for partners who couldn't celebrate their light. And I've also seen the opposite. I've seen couples who nurture each other, who challenge each other to grow, who support each other's wildest dreams. I've seen loves that are both a refuge and an adventure, that are both security and freedom in the same equation. The difference isn't in perfection, but in intention. It's not in the absence of conflict, but in how conflicts are resolved. It's not in having no problems, but in facing them together without either person having to disappear in the process. A love that ignites you recognizes that each person is a complete universe. It doesn't try to change your galaxy. It tries to explore it. It doesn't try to rewrite your story. It tries to understand it. It doesn't seek to possess you. It seeks to accompany you on the journey of becoming who you truly are. When you are with someone who truly loves you, you don't have to translate your emotions to make them more digestible. You don't have to edit your dreams to make them more realistic. You don't have to muffle your shine so that others don't feel dull. There's a line from Violeta Parra that says, "Life is an absurd wound." And it's true, life hurts sometimes. But true love doesn't add unnecessary wounds. True love is the balm that helps heal. It's the companionship that makes the inevitable pain of existence more bearable. If you have been in relationships that have dimmed your light, I want you to know that it is not your fault. We often learn to love from broken models, from families where love was confused with drama, where passion was confused with toxicity, where intensity was confused with intimacy. But you can unlearn. You can teach yourself what real love is. You can begin by loving yourself the way you deserve to be loved, completely, unconditionally, without reservation. That means honoring your emotions without judging them. It means chasing your dreams without asking for permission. It means setting boundaries without feeling guilty. It means saying no when something doesn't resonate with your soul, even if the other person gets upset. It means recognizing that your worth is not in what you can give or what you can endure, but in the simple fact of your existence. It means understanding that you deserve a love that celebrates you, not one that tolerates you. When you learn to love yourself this way, when you become your own refuge and your own adventure, something magical happens. You no longer attract loves that need to dim your light to shine. You start attracting loves that want to shine with you. You begin to recognize the difference between someone who says they love you and someone who truly loves you. You start to see the early signs, to trust your intuition, to honor that inner voice that always knew the difference, but that you had learned to silence. Your intuition is your compass toward true love. When something doesn't feel right, when you have to explain to yourself why a certain behavior is okay, when you feel like you're walking on eggshells, your intuition is telling you something important. Listen to it. Trust it. Act on it. Because at the end of the day, love isn't something you have to chase, beg for, or earn. True love arrives when you are whole within yourself, when you know who you are and what you're worth, when you are unwilling to be less so that someone else can feel comfortable. True love doesn't ask you to choose between being loved and being yourself. It allows you to be both at the same time. So, dear fear, this is my farewell. I will no longer confuse your possessive voice with the voice of love. I will no longer allow you to convince me that I have to make myself small to be loved. I will no longer believe that drama is passion or that control is care. I have learned that true love is quiet in its certainty, generous in its expression, constant in its presence. It doesn't shout to be heard. It doesn't manipulate to get attention. It doesn't punish to teach lessons. True love simply is, and in its being, it allows you to be too. If you are reading this and you recognize your story in these words, I want you to know that it is not too late to choose differently. It is not too late to leave relationships that dim your light. It is not too late to learn to love yourself completely. You deserve a love that ignites you. You deserve a love that celebrates every facet of who you are. You deserve a love that inspires you to be the most authentic and brilliant version of yourself. And that love begins with you. It begins when you decide that you will no longer negotiate with your own light. It begins when you decide that being loved is not worth it if the price is to stop being you. The world needs your full light, unfiltered, unapologetic, undiminished. The world needs your loud laugh, your brilliant ideas, your wild heart, your indomitable spirit. Don't let anyone convince you that you are too much. If you are too much for someone, that person is simply not for you. Because it's not love if it dims your light, and you deserve to burn brightly.